From Washington, this is VOA News. At least 31 people have been killed and more than 200 wounded in Tripoli. And soon in China, it will be okay to have two. I'm Joe Palca, reporting from Washington. At least 31 people have been killed and more than 200 wounded in Tripoli after militiamen opened fire on protesters who had marched to the headquarters of a militia to demand that it leave the Libyan capital. The militias are holdovers from the 2011 uprising that ousted dictator Moammar Gadhafi and are a powerful force in the increasingly lawless North African country. The protesters marched to the Gharghour neighborhood, home to the headquarters of a militia originally from the city of Misrata that has a powerful presence in Tripoli. The news from China today was indeed historic, as announced social reforms include a relaxation of the government's one-child policy for families, to say nothing of the fact that the country's re-education through labor camps will be abolished. It is the very same labor camps where hundreds of thousands were imprisoned without trial. Market reforms are also in the headlines as China says development of a mixed ownership economy is a key part of sweeping financial reforms. Details of 60 reform proposals endorsed this week by the Communist Party leaders show private investment will soon be allowed in projects that have been dominated by state-owned firms. The Philippine government is defending its efforts to deliver assistance to victims of Typhoon Haiyan, many of whom have received little or no assistance since the deadly storm struck a week ago. Interior Secretary Mar Roxas says that in a situation like this, speed is of the utmost importance. Simone Orendine has more from Manila for VOA.
The aftermath of the disaster has made it difficult to tally the number of victims, but on Friday the government estimated 1.4 million people have been displaced by Typhoon Haiyan, and 400,000 of them are still in need of food and basic necessities. But now, officials with the U.S. Embassy in Manila say there are significantly more places receiving the goods for distribution compared to a day ago. The Philippine government has said this week the crisis has been one of the largest relief operations ever taken on by the country. On Friday, officials defended the aid effort despite the failures to reach many storm survivors. Simone Orendine, Manila.
For more on this story, visit our website at voanews.com. The Nigerian military says soldiers have killed 9 members of the Islamist militant group Boko Haram during a shootout in the country's northeast. Officials say the fighting took place Thursday, about 85 kilometers south of Maiduguri, the center of the Boko Haram insurgency, which is blamed for thousands of deaths over the last 4 years. An Army spokesman says one soldier was also injured in the violence. Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama has rejected a U.S. request that Albania hosts the destruction of Syria's chemical weapons stockpile. In a speech on Friday, Mr. Rama said it is impossible for the Balkan nation to take part in the operation. He said no other countries have stepped forward to house a facility that will dismantle the weapons. The UN Security Council has rejected a proposal to delay the trials of Kenya's top leaders in the International Criminal Court. A draft resolution to postpone for 12 months the trials of President Uhuru Kenyatta and Deputy President William Ruto fell short in a Friday morning vote. Mr. Kenyatta and his deputy are charged with crimes against humanity for allegedly organizing post-election violence in 2007 and 2008 that killed more than 1,100 people. Both men have denied the charges. U.S. President Obama is meeting with health insurance executives today, his latest effort aimed at rescuing the bulky startup of his signature health care reforms. The White House has been faced with a barrage of complaints that millions of people are losing their insurance on New Year's Day because of the new law, popularly known as Obamacare, even though Mr. Obama promised voters they could keep their policies if they wanted to. Republican Speaker of the House John Boehner.
When you look at Obamacare, frankly, I don't think there's a way to fix it.
Mr. Obama, in an unusual admission, took full blame for the slow rollout of the reforms. The U.S. has destroyed 6 tons of ivory it had seized, crushing the tusks of elephants in an effort to combat the worldwide trade in this particular contraband. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service had collected the tusks, some with intricate carvings on them, over the last 25 years. But on Thursday, the workers pulverized the stash in an industrial rock crusher in the western U.S. state of Colorado, all in an attempt to curtail elephant poaching and cut the market for the tusks. Experts say that there is a $10 billion annual illegal business in animal trafficking, and the tusks that were destroyed represented 2,000 elephants. This is Joe Palca for VOA News.